Here's a shocking reality. We've become so addicted to digital payments that most of us would rather leave our house without pants than without our smartphone. Here's where it gets controversial. This convenience obsession might be setting us up for financial disaster. Adrian Roberts, the deputy chief executive of Link, has dropped some eye-opening truths about our payment habits that should make every one of us question whether we're being smart or dangerously naive. When we talk about how people prefer to pay for things today, digital methods have absolutely dominated the landscape. The shift has been so dramatic that over half of all consumers now walk out their front door without even grabbing their physical wallet. Think about that for a moment. Something that would have been considered absolutely insane just a decade ago is now completely normal. But here's the part most people miss. This digital dependency is creating vulnerabilities that could leave millions of people stranded when technology inevitably fails. Roberts has witnessed this transformation firsthand through Link's position as the UK's primary cash machine operator. As someone who's been in the industry for 4 decades, he's got a unique perspective on just how dramatically our relationship with money has evolved. Let's take a trip back to 1985, Link's founding year, when a pint of milk cost just 22 pence. Compared to today's 85 pence, Live Aid was making history. EastEnders premiered on television, and Back to the Future was the biggest blockbuster. During that era, our payment universe consisted of 3 simple options: physical cards, cold hard cash, and those paper checks your grandparents still insist on using. Fast forward 40 years to 2025, and the payment landscape looks like something from a science fiction movie. We've layered on bank transfers, chip and pin technology, contactless cards, digital wallets living inside our smart devices, open banking systems, and even QR code payments. The transformation has been nothing short of revolutionary. While the traditional phrase cash is king might still ring true for certain demographics, there's a compelling argument that convenience has officially stolen the crown in today's fast-paced world. Link's latest research reveals just how dramatically consumer behavior has shifted, and whether our increasing reliance on digital payment systems is creating dangerous blind spots in our financial security. The explosion of payment options available through retailers has fundamentally changed how we prepare to leave our homes. Currently, fewer than half of all consumers bother to bring their wallet or purse when heading out. This represents a seismic shift that would have seemed utterly impossible 10 years ago, when digital systems were clunky, unreliable, and painfully slow at their absolute best. Back then, using a card for transactions felt awkward, impractical, or even socially inappropriate in many situations. The idea of paying for a round of drinks, parking fees, or bus fare with your smartphone seemed like something straight out of a fantasy novel. And this is the part that should grab everyone's attention. We've reached a tipping point where digital payments have become the automatic choice for most people. Industry statistics show that card payments first surpassed cash transactions in 2018, but the revolution didn't stop there. Digital wallets stored on smartphones and smartwatches have now become the preferred payment method for Gen Z and millennial consumers, specifically those between ages 18 and 44. Interestingly, while older demographic groups might still lean toward traditional cards, the generational divide isn't as dramatic as many people assume. The adoption patterns show more gradual differences rather than sharp dividing lines. But here's where the story gets more nuanced. Cash continues to serve a vital function in our society. Although it's certainly less prominent than in previous decades and no longer represents the default choice for any age group, the research demonstrates that more than 3 out of every 5 people still use physical cash at least once weekly. ATM data from last year reveals that the average UK adult withdrew £1,250, contributing to a staggering £80 billion total across the country. What's particularly concerning is that digital solutions still don't work for everyone. Nearly a quarter of the population considers themselves digitally excluded from modern society, particularly when it comes to payments and banking services. This digital divide helps explain why cash remains the most trusted payment method among consumers. While it's completely understandable that most people don't spend time thinking about the complex infrastructure supporting our payment systems, we've reached a critical moment where our digital dependence has never been higher. This raises an uncomfortable question. What would happen if these systems went down for an extended period? The UK has experienced payment outages, but fortunately, they've been relatively limited in scope and duration, with systems typically restored fairly quickly. However, we only need to examine recent power outages in Portugal and Spain to understand the significant vulnerabilities that exist in our interconnected digital world. In Sweden and Finland, government officials have actively discussed contingency planning for these aren't theoretical concerns. They're real-world scenarios that keep policymakers awake at night. The research data paints a troubling picture of our digital vulnerability. 2/3 of consumers have experienced some form of payment disruption, with 1/3 of those incidents directly caused by payment system outages. Despite these experiences, many people continue to operate without any backup plans. Consider this startling reality. Numerous consumers don't carry any physical cash or even keep emergency money at home. The median amount people carry is just £20, with an additional £10 typically stored at home. These minimal amounts could prove woefully inadequate during extended digital outages. The vulnerability extends beyond cash shortages. Over half of all consumers, 53%, leave home with only a single bank card, while 40% rely exclusively on one card stored in their digital wallet. This creates multiple single points of failure in their payment capabilities. Imagine these scenarios. You're ready to pay for groceries when your phone battery dies completely, or perhaps there's a widespread disruption affecting the card network, making both traditional cards and digital wallets useless. These situations might sound hypothetical, but there's substantial evidence showing that technological failures occur regularly. Some readers might suspect that Link has ulterior motives for promoting cash usage. However, Roberts emphasizes that Link isn't trying to halt the digital revolution or turn back the clock on technological progress. Their mission is simply ensuring free access to cash for as long as people need it. The organization actively supports innovations that help more people benefit from digital products and services. They also back the Bank of England's excellent work to improve resilience in digital payment systems. Their message isn't anti-technology, it's pro-preparedness. For now, the recommendation is straightforward. People should seriously consider whether they have adequate backup plans for those inevitable days when technology fails to cooperate. There's an iconic line from 1985's Back to the Future that, if the movie were remade today, might read, "Wallets? Where we're going, we don't need wallets." Indeed, digital wallets may eventually make physical wallets as obsolete as pocket watches. But having that physical backup certainly provides peace of mind when technological systems inevitably encounter problems. So here's my question for you. Are we being smart by embracing digital convenience, or are we sleepwalking into a financial vulnerability that could leave us stranded when we need money most? Have you experienced payment system failures that left you scrambling for alternatives? And most importantly, when was the last time you checked whether you actually have enough backup payment methods to survive a digital blackout? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below, because this debate affects every single one of us.